Welcome to Bones to Beards podcast with Brian and Chad, where we dive headfirst into the world of hunting and fishing with a healthy dose of humor and humility. Well, Chad, we've made it to episode 5. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with Bones to Beards right now.
So, we getting ready for spring turkey season, making turkey calls. If you're in need of a crystal or slate call, you can pick them up at Campbell's Hardware in Robertsdale. Also, make sure you're following us on our social media pages, Bones to Beards Outdoors on Facebook and Bones to Beards on Instagram. And also, you can get our calls, hats, and other things on our website at www.bonetobeards.com. So make sure you're following our social media because we got a big hunting trip coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're going to be posting a lot of clips, pictures, videos on there.
Yeah, we're going to have our videos on, we'll post them on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, which is also Bones to Beards Outdoors. And we're actually going to do our 6th podcast from the lodge right there in Southwest Texas.
Yeah, down in South Texas. So that's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to this trip.
Yeah, I'm ready to go now. Well, let's talk a little bit about deer season and how that went.
Man, there ain't no bones about it. It wasn't a great season.
Yeah, I feel like I got that first deer, which was my target buck, and it was like, I don't know, it was like wasn't as heavy into it as I have been in the past. You know, I still hunted, but getting that target buck.
You just didn't have the drive to get out there.
That's the word I'm looking for. I just didn't have the drive. I didn't go on as many morning hunts as I should have because that's where I killed a lot of bucks.
No.
And I did a lot of afternoon hunting and just kind of going around the house, and I didn't see a lot of activity, I guess because I didn't go enough.
Yeah. Well, I didn't hunt as much either this season, but man, it was a struggle just to see deer every time I went.
Yeah, that's the big thing that I noticed, especially at our club this year, was lack of does. I could really see double-digit does most of the time when I go, but this year, and I climb most of the time, and I'm deep in the woods, and I'm along those transition lines where you usually see the movement, you see trails and all that, and I'm back off a little bit where I can see, but looking out, I could usually see a doe. It might not come right in front of me, but I could see it over there and one back over here. This year, it just didn't happen. Mm-mm. And we talked about it before, is too much corn or too much bait in the woods.
You're right. Man, so baiting's been legal for going on 5 years now, and I firmly believe that it is having a negative impact on deer hunting, how we know it, the traditional methods, because the deer are constantly going straight to the bait.
Right, and it changes
their movement patterns.
Their movement patterns and kind of what I'm used to hunting, and it's totally different. I think I said this in the last episode. I don't know if I'm really for baiting.
I'm not. At one time I was. I think it kind of increased your chances. But the further along that we've got into it and more people, everybody does it now. I mean, I'm against it.
Yeah, I think there's too many people. Everybody has to bait in order to get deer. If you don't bait, then you're not going to see the deer, and I think that's a problem. And I don't know if they're talking about that or not. I know they're not talking about it in that aspect of it, but
I talked to a lot of people, especially over the last couple of weeks, and just asking how their deer season went, and everybody I talked to had the same complaints. I'm talking from south of Montgomery to Baldwin County, people that hunt in these areas, and it's the same complaint. They don't like the baiting. They are not seeing as many deer as they previously have. We don't have a shortage of deer. The population's there. It's just, I think their patterns have evolved over these last several years, and it's just changing the way you got to get out there and hunt.
Yeah, and somebody brought this up at our hunting club the other day, and just feeding on the plots. I really didn't think about it at the time, but that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Because you got your food plot already. If the bait is in the food plot, that's where all the bait is located instead of the woods, and they're still using their avenues like they used to on the way to the food plot, and you can hunt them that way.
So
not necessarily from the food plot, but you're hunting those paths to it and what they're doing in the woods instead of around the food plot.
So this gets to another aspect. What's the point in planting a food plot if you're just going to bait?
Right. I mean, think about how much money you're wasting.
Yeah. The price of seed is sky high. Fertilizer sky high.
Oh, I can tell you about fertilizer on our farm using that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're gonna spend, I don't know, $800,000-$900,000 baiting throughout the season, because some people do, what's the point in planting food plots?
No, I agree. I really agree. I mean, it's gotten to the point. I don't know what the best method is anymore. It used to be, when I hunted in the past, you just had the food plot, and I saw more deer. I saw more deer, bigger deer.
Right.
And I'm at a loss for words on it, really.
No. Yeah, it was a frustrating season, for sure.
Yeah.
I ain't had a season like this in 5-6 years.
Right. Well, I don't know if I ever saw full rut this year.
I didn't. I saw a bunch of younger bucks chasing, but as far as like big bucks, I don't know what the deal is.
In our pasture behind our house at our farm, no matter if I could shoot them that far away or not, I always see pretty good sized deer chasing does in that pasture. This year, I didn't see it a single time. I never saw a small buck chasing. But the last 2 years, this is the third year that I've been hunting it. In the last 2 years, I can sit in that ladder, look into that pasture, close to that water line, and just see deer 500 yards away, just chasing, running back across that creek, and just, saying, man, I wish I was over there. But
so do you think the snow that we had a few weeks ago had a negative impact on it?
I don't think so. We were starting to see a lot more deer movement that week because it was cold for like a week and a half. Right. And I saw a lot of deer movement. I had a lot of deer movement with my cameras with some shootable bucks, but I never got any daytime pictures with them. And that's the biggest thing this year. At the club, I did get some daytime pictures, and like I said last episode, that one got shot 3 days later after I had the opportunity, but he kind of slipped away. But other than that, I never really saw as many big bucks through there in the daytime that I had before.
Right. So I don't know if this is funny or not. It's not really funny or whatever, but in 2018, I was going through some old deer pics last night, just looking at them. And around March the 10th, I had some good bucks chasing on camera.
So is this what you got on your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was looking at my phone the other night because I looked at deer pictures. How many pictures do you have on there?
A bunch.
I mean, and I delete all the time, but I think on
thousands.
I'm like 6,000-7,000 on each camera. I'm like, what am I doing? Why don't I? I got a bad problem of if it's not any good, erase it. I don't know. Right. And I stay up at night and I don't want to delete all.
Right.
Because I got some good bucks on there that I like looking at from time to time.
Right.
And you delete all, that's gone. And there's so many on there, it won't delete all. It pops off of the internet before I delete them all. And why am I keeping that many pictures on there?
I don't know. I do the same thing.
And I'll go every night, and you got that little button up there where you can hit select. And when you click it, it'll go into red, and I'll just be going red. Then I hit the delete button, about 100 pictures on there, and those go away, and I still look, and I still got 7,000 something on there. I said, I'll be up all night long trying to get rid of all these pictures. I think that's
the reason why is because it just takes so long to delete them.
And let me ask this question. I thought about this last night because I was looking at some last night because my camera went off at the farm, and one of those broken off bucks showed up. I always get this message, whatever, my phone and my memory is full or whatever. Are those pictures there affecting my memory?
Yeah, but it's saved to your SD card.
But they're on my phone. Does that make doing the memory
No.
Because I deleted the SD card the other day at the one at the club because I was, getting it ready for turkey season. I just deleted everything off the SD card.
Yeah, I do that too.
Well, let's transition to what I think is probably our favorite hunting sport here.
100%. 100%.
I don't like so much getting up early in the morning, but I'll get up. It's just the fact of having to race people to get out there and get your spot. You just got to get up so early to get there. But let's transition from deer season to turkey season. What are some of your main preseason preps?
Getting in the woods and listening and scouting. Just spending time in the woods is what I like to do preseason. Trying to kind of pattern the birds, how they're moving, where they're at, and just moving around listening.
Now, how early are you going to do that?
So I've thought about it. I think daylight savings time changes first weekend in March.
And we don't start to the 25th, right?
To the 25th. So probably right after daylight savings time, because the sun will be coming up earlier, and I can run out there before work.
And I've got all these buddies that like, hey, man, you need to hunt over here. They're in deer season. You need to hunt over here. And that's not necessarily where they're going to be during turkey season.
No.
I mean, because you got to think about their nesting. And during deer season, it's all about food, I think.
Right.
And
they're foraging for food.
Yeah, they're looking for food. They're coming to all these baited.
Right, bait piles. They're...
because we got tons of pictures of turkeys on bait piles and stuff like that. And
yes.
We can't bait turkey, so all that's going to be gone. And then the hens are going to be looking for their nesting area. So it's, it changes so when the deer people always tell me, hey, you need to hunt over there. I say, well, I'll look at it, but, do I have any nesting areas by that? That's the main thing that I'm looking for is,
right.
Where's that nesting area?
That's where we've had all our success is where the nesting area is. If you're not in a nesting area, it's very difficult to hunt turkeys.
Oh, yeah. You got to have, and that's what happened at our farm. We had nesting area because we had row crop back then that butted all the way up to the swamp, and we planted wheat every year. So that was always in the field. And the turkeys would just, move from the swamp to, and we had a little bit more section other than the swamp. And then my uncle started cutting down some trees, especially in the back, right there in front. In the wheat, he took some of the trees back. So it left it open, a lot more open from the wheat to the trees. So it's
right.
that, they're kind of skittish about going through there now. So we're trying to let it grow back up.
Well, we got to experience the nesting area get messed up 6, 7, 8 years ago when we were during turkey season. The power company come through,
right,
and wiped the power line out and cut it all down, and that pushed them turkeys out of there for a little while. It took a couple of years for them to come back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it made it totally different, but the key thing in prepping is looking for those areas and like you say, listening is the biggest thing.
Oh, yeah. Getting out, spending time in the woods, listening. This weekend, I went and moved my cameras to the turkey spots. I got deer spots. Same way with turkey.
Yeah, so. I got to move. I need to move my cameras this week. I'm probably going to do that at the end of the week I think it's going to get real cold again, so I don't have to worry about them no shoulders out there. Because... Well, we had somebody kill one this past weekend. Yeah, out there, and I'm like, and it was a big old rattlesnake too, and I'm like, ugh.
Man, I'm so ready to go out and just start listening now, but I don't know if it'd do any good at this point, this early, but it might.
I think you're right to go after that change in time there and go listen to them then.
I'm just itching to get out there.
I know.
I was actually talking to somebody today, and they were like, why do you like turkey so much? I said, there is no better feeling than to hear one gobble on the limb at daybreak. Like, that is like my heroin.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's what I try to explain to my wife, and she just rolls her eyes at me. I said, if you just go one time and listen to how close that is, I don't know if her heart will start beating like mine, but I'm like, yeah, that's it right there. I'm looking for that.
That gets all them juices flowing.
Yeah. I'm ready, but I think around the 1st of March, which what, 2 weeks? We're about 2 weeks away.
2 weeks away.
And we're gonna have to do it a little bit after first because we're going to Texas. So.
We are.
I'll be thinking about turkey hunting while I'm ran hunting.
100%.
When you're scouting, I know we always look for, or we always listen. But when you're scouting, what are some of your techniques there?
Walking, looking for tracks. That's the telltale sign. If you find tracks, you're gonna see where they're ganging up. Looking for strut zones, marks in the roads or in sandy areas, turkey poop.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I look for. That and tracks. That's that telltale sign. Where they're how they're traveling. Which way those tracks are pointed.
Right, where they're going, coming.
Key. And if you can get them on camera, a lot of times I'll put my camera just on that road where they're walking.
Right.
And see what time of day they're walking and they're coming through that road. Because a lot of times they travel, roads a pretty good bit, especially if they got that sandy road where they'll sit there and, dust in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, if you can get that on camera about what time they're usually coming through. That one year, what was it, that first year you went with me and we set that out, and it was like we had it figured out and we were close on some, and then the game warden comes right through the camera.
Right, we never saw the turkeys again.
Never saw turkeys again, and he came right through about. It was early morning.
Yeah, 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and he's walking right down where those turkeys have been going back and forth, and they never showed up again. I don't know if I guess he busted them right there.
Had to have. And what's crazy about him coming in? Either he had a key to the gate or he walked 2 miles. I don't know what he did.
I'm sure he drove in there.
Because we were a long ways in there.
Yeah, because that was all the way in that back section, and it was, it's a long ways back there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a frustrating season.
Well, you're probably going to definitely be hands up on me unless I go more while you're working. That's going to be my strategy. You got that new bike. Tell us a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yes, sir.
Because we got some of our other turkey members, and I get them. It looks like the Wicked Witch of the West coming by on that bike.
Oh, yeah.
And I know where they're hunting that day.
Well, I got frustrated last year because a couple of these guys got these bikes, and they were able to traverse the territory, and they hear a bird gobbling way over here, and it's a mile away if you got to walk it. They're there in 5 minutes, and they're able to go kill a bird. And I'm sitting there going, it'd take me 30 minutes to walk a mile, through this terrain. And then you get over there, and the bird's gone. And so Eubanks got smart, and I bought me one of these e-bikes, so it's going to be a game changer this year. I'm so freaking excited.
I'm kind of jealous, but I got this wedding coming up, 2 weddings maybe, and
I'm going to get some of them BMX pegs and put on the back so you can ride.
Whack and ride on there. Maybe that. But that definitely is a game changer when you can hear one somewhere and you jump on that thing and just get there.
And go. Yeah.
Turkey hunting has changed, hasn't it?
It has. Because just thinking back over the last 7, 8, 9 years that we've been doing it together, we've walked everywhere we went. We've put a lot of miles on the ground and walked through some rough stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I call it snake country.
Yeah. And that's one thing that's a little bit different than deer season. You don't necessarily have to have. I wear them whatever I'm hunting most time if I'm in the woods. I don't care what the temperature is, but I got snake boots on, and I feel comfortable. It's that sitting by that tree, and I look over and he's a few feet away. That's the thing right there that I told you last time, I never use a flashlight when I'm turkey hunting. But I'm telling you, before I hit that ground, I'm poking around and making sure whatever I'm poking with does not move in a direction. Because, I've had some. I had one time I was hunting in Selma, and I looked over, and it's about 3 feet away, and there's a nice size copperhead. And I'm like, and those things can be a little bit aggressive, And I'm like, oh. But, it just it eventually went the other way. But that was one of those I was going to say heck with it, because if it was going to come my direction, I was getting up. I'm not going to sit there and watch it run over my leg.
No question. That's like have you seen the video that's went around for the last few years? They got the rattlesnake crawling over the dew while he's turkey hunting.
Oh, yeah. One that is that the one where he goes over the crotch?
Yes.
Yeah. I draw the line at some point.
Dude, I would have lost my I'd have died. I'd have had a heart attack.
Oh my gosh! I tell you what, most encounter with, you would think would be snakes. I better knock on wood, because that's probably all I'm gonna see this year. But bobcats.
You got some good stories with that.
Oh, me and my buddy Brooks, we were hunting at his place, and we were sitting there, and I was calling, and he was back on a fire lane, and I had come off the edge of it. And this is how stupid I am. I mean, I see it, and it's about 25 yards away. He hadn't seen it yet, and I'm thinking, well, I don't want to shoot it because I don't want to mess up the turkey hunting. That's what's so stupid. There ain't no turkey. If he's around, there ain't no turkeys anyway.
No.
So I should have just blasted him. And he starts coming up that fire lane. Well, Brooks is sitting on the fire lane back behind me. And I'm calling everything, and I'm watching this thing. I said, this thing is coming to this turkey call. I'm like, oh, gosh. And then it gets closer and closer, and he finally sees it. And I hear him, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it. And I just kind of move, and the thing kind of runs away, But that thing, I should have blasted. I don't know what it's going to mess up the turkey hunt. No, the turkey hunting's already messed up because he's right there in our lap,
We think about that so often. No matter when we're hunting, a predator comes out and we're like, oh, we don't want to shoot it because we're worried about it messing up the hunt. But it's already messed up.
Yeah, it's already messed up. They can't, ooh, I'm glad a turkey can't smell, because, a deer, he's gone because he's going to smell it. But if a turkey could ever smell,
you'd never kill one.
Oh, you can hang it up. It ain't going to happen.
Never.
But I've had before, I was hunting, I can't remember where I was hunting, and I'm sitting there, and I've seen other people with this. I've even seen a video, but it's happened to me before. I'm sitting there, and I'm just calling, I'm sitting there, and the back behind my neck just gets hot. I'm like, I'm not moving. I'm like, what is that? And and I'm sitting there, and I don't want to jerk around because I have no clue what it is. And all of a sudden, and it was a cold day, I see the breath of it. It goes, I feel it on my neck, and it goes past my face. And I'm to the point where I've got my finger on, the safety's off, and I'm moving this gun to where it's kind of pointing kind of backwards at an angle, and whatever it is, I hope it's not somebody, because I'm fixing to kill it. And lo and behold, this doe walks out, and she's a foot from me. And I'm just sitting leaning up against that tree. She's a foot from me, and her right foot steps on my left leg. And she never even, and deer season, they blow 250 yards away, and she's blowing right down my neck. And it walks right. And the only thing that scared her, when she stepped on my leg, I jerked back, and then she took off. But that was one of those, that time when it's breathing on my neck and I don't know what it is, oh my goodness. And you see those videos all the time when those guys sitting by the tree and they don't know, and that bobcat's coming up behind them.
Right.
And it reaches around, pops them on the shoulder or the leg from behind the tree. Well, I'd mess up some pants there. I know that last episode we started talking about messing up your hunting clothes, but that would be it for me.
I'd be done. I'd be done.
Let's talk a little bit about our turkey calls that we're making right now.
So we got some calls that we're making that are going to be really cool. So they're going to be crystal top, zero wood pots, and on the soundboard we're putting turkey feathers on it. So it's going to look really good, but it's going to sound even better.
Yeah. We had some and we sold out of those last week, so we're making a new batch of those. It's not the first time we've made them. We had them last year, but we've really put a lot of emphasis on it this year to really get those out to the public and let them see it. We'll talk about those. I'm pretty sure we're going to have those in Campbell's Hardware the next few days. So go check those out, and we'll also have those on our website. But I've already had some people that have ordered some.
Right, and we've had more people asking about it, and that's also a cool way to, make a memory of your hunt.
Right.
If you harvest a bird and you want to just have a memory, you can save the feathers, get us the feathers, and we can make the call together, and it'll be an actual usable call.
Right, because I know two of the guys that bought some last week, both of those are already. They've conditioned them already, and they're using them. So, because I asked these two guys in particular, because they came and bought them at the same time. And I said, do y'all want them just as they are, or do you want them pre-conditioned? They said, no, we'll have them just where they are. Then they called me back or texted me back and said, hey, these sound pretty good.
So what do you mean when you say condition? Because that's something a lot of people don't know when it comes to crystal and glass calls.
Well, when we do, and last year when we put them in stores, we preconditioned them. So we're taking that conditioning stone, and you've got to etch that surface on those glass or crystal calls, because we go ahead and precondition them a lot of times, especially we're going to put them in the store, because I know for a fact people will bring a crystal or a glass call back to the store because they try to make it, and it won't make a sound. It definitely won't make a turkey sound.
No.
If you're sitting there and you hadn't conditioned it. A lot of people just try to take that striker and play and scratch on top of that, and there's no
friction.
You have to have that friction in that call for it to make that sound. And so we'll precondition ours, and especially if they're going on the shelf. And that's the one thing we got to make a decision on. The ones on the feathers, I think we're going to leave those clean, though.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll know how to do those, because I don't want to really precondition. We preconditioned some last year and sold them like that.
So another question I have, where do you like to condition it at, in the middle or on the edge?
No, that's definitely going in the edge. You get that better friction and that better sound on the edge of that call. That's where you got to use, no matter whether it's crystal, glass, or slate, it's that edge, especially on a pot call. It's that edge on the pot call that sounds so good.
I agree.
And that feather one, it sounds good in both the. I know we got two main that we sell. Three really. We sell the Osage Orange call, the Zebrawood call, and the Bloodswood call. We've used crystal on the Osage Orange, but we haven't used feathers in anything but the Bloodswood and the Zebrawood, and it sounds great in there.
Mm-hmm. It does. It really does. And Bloodwood's my favorite call.
Yeah, I know you use the Bloodwood, and heck, I'm using all kind. I mean, people like the Zebrawood. It sounds real good, but a lot of people they like the look of it, and they'll grab it off the shelf just because of the look. But I'm gonna tell you, it's a good sounding call. That's what I use the most. Both it and the Bloodswood are dense calls, so they make a good sound. And, they produce the right sound that you're looking for.
Right. They do.
So it's one of those,
But one thing I have noticed, you can take any call and any striker, but you got to figure out what works for you.
Right.
As an individual, because what combination you use may not work for me. I may not can get it to sound good or get a good tone out of it.
Right.
So, that's what I played around with, and that Bloodwood with Osage Orange striker works perfect for me. That's my go-to.
Yeah, and especially on our slate, and we kind of know what to package with our crystal calls because we've used them before and tried, every type of different striker. The ones that sound the best is usually what you'll get if you buy
a prepackaged.
So we use the striker that sounds, good on that. Even though there's more than one, so there may be, you may go to the store and get one and it have a Osage Orange striker, or you may get there and it may have a Purple Heart. But there's different woods that make a different sound on it, but they all sound good. And we try, if you don't, especially with us, because we precondition the call.
We test every call.
So we test every call. And the only thing is, if we're not going to precondition it, we don't test that call because it's not conditioned, so you don't get any friction. But we've already tested it on a call that's just like it.
Right.
So it's really been pre-tested. But before we package them up, whether it's slate or the preconditioned crystals that we put in there, we'll use the strike. We'll just use a striker, and if it sounds good with that, then we package it in there with it. So it's all tested ahead of time.
One call we have that we hadn't talked much about is the ceramic top.
Right. The ceramic top is really, and for here, we made it for us to go out to Kansas.
Right.
Because we were getting 40-mile-per-hour winds, and that thing can rip through the wind. And it's a little bit more expensive, so it's a zebra wood call with that ceramic in there. And we get some windy days out here too. Now we get 25, 30, and a lot of times you're like, well, I don't want to go because it's a windy day. That thing right there, even though it's a little pricier than the others, it will reach through that wind.
It will. And when you're talking about wind, turkey's still moving the wind. They don't.
Oh, I know. It's just you're not sure if they're hearing.
Right.
But that one there really.
That ceramic one gets out there.
It really rips through there.
Yeah. It's a good call.
And you don't have to precondition it.
No, it's not. You don't have to do anything to it. You just grab it and use it.
Yeah, it's as is.
And if it gets a little wet, it's okay too.
Yeah, because a lot of people, you'll see some people that they like to go to ceramic because if it does get wet, it still works.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to turkey season. I'm looking forward to this ram hunt we got here in a week or so, and I think we'll have a good time with that. And we'll definitely have the podcast that we do from there. We've had a lot of listeners listen to our podcast. Our podcasts are doing really well. We appreciate all the people that listen. And just what we always say, if you're not in the woods or on the water, you don't know what you're missing.